Dear students, in this class we shall discuss about the one more skill of micro teaching, that is probing questioning. As we already gone through the introducing a lesson in previous slides, in this slide we will go through the different ideas about the skill of probing questioning and as well as the components of the skill of probing questioning with the sample lesson plan and as well as the observation schedule. So first we see the why we put question in the class and how the responses of the students are managed by the teachers. So when the teacher poses the question, usually the following are the responses of the students. So what response may we get from the students when we ask the question? So first one is we may get full answer, correct response, or expected response, or desired or criterion response for our question. This is a one type of response we get from the students. Second one is half correct answer or expected answer. Third one is total wrong answer. And fourth one is partially correct answer. Fifth one is maybe no response. Many a times we are not get any response from the students. No students try to say the answer. Then sixth one is request for repetition of question. Maybe children going to once again ask the teacher to request, sir, please, madam, please, what is the question? Repeat. So we may get such response. Then question for the question. Maybe the child is going to ask question for the question. So what shall I say, sir, for your answer? Shall I say the nature? Shall I say the types? What shall I say? So maybe the students' response is like this, question for the questions. So these are the some responses of the students when teacher is put question to the class. Then how to manage these questions? So when we get a full answer, then we appreciate the particular child. When we are not get the any answer, no response, then usually the teacher is stare at the student and maybe blame the student, and he only supply the answer, she only supply the answer and proceed further. This is common criterion, common tendency of the teachers, because so many things we have to complete the syllabus within the stipulated period, and the overcrowded students. For that reason, we are not supposed to take the much more exercises rather than saying your answer is wrong or your answer is right, and then proceed for the next presentation. This is actually the practice usually we see in our day-to-day classrooms. But what else we can do in order to make the class very effective other than these type of handling the or managing the students' response? So the answer is the skill of probing questioning. So in the skill of probing questioning, so what we're going to learn is, we're going to learn about how to manage the student response from maybe it is a fully right answer or maybe it is a fully wrong answer. The response for such questions are differ from teacher to teacher maybe, and situation to situation, and even sometimes depend on the student who respond for the question. If a small question is very short answer question is asked for a less difficult question is asked for a gifted learner. If we fail to say the answer, then what we say? So our response is different, or managing the response is different. So the response of the teacher, the reaction of the teacher for the response of the student is change from student to student, differ from situation to situation. So we'll respond, we'll react according to the situation and according to the student. If for a very easy question, if a gifted learner not answer, then our reaction is different. For a easy question, for difficult question, if the slow learner not answer, then our reaction is different. So reaction is different from situation to situation. Then usually the teacher's response for the remaining except the first is nodding the head as it is wrong, or else directly say your answer is wrong. So for first it is fully answer, so we are not give any response. Maybe we say it is very good. But for the remaining, teacher is going to nod the head or say directly your answer is wrong. It is enough to appreciate the correct response of the people. So for the first response, the full right answer, is it enough to say your response is correct, you are good, very good, like that? So something we have to do. So that is the managing the response of the students we learn in skill of probing questioning. What could a teacher do to manage such responses? So we'll get an answer in here. The answer is, the answer for the above questions is practice the skill of probing questioning. So it is a skill by which the teacher very effectively, efficiently manage the responses of the students in the classroom. Then, what is the meaning of probing? Usually we heard this word in our day-to-day life. So go deep inquiry. Probe means go deep inquiry. Exploring the ideas. Inquiring closely inquiry about the things. Exploring again. Examine. So these are the meaning for the probing. Then one more is word is with the probing is questioning. Then what is the purpose of questioning? We know very well already in the previous class also we learned about it. Why we ask questions? So to increase the reasoning and critical thinking, to enable the people to analyze the problems and arrive at solutions, to encourage almost all peoples to participate in learning, to develop the lesson logically, to initiate discussions, to identify the difficulty facing by the pupils, to test the achievement level and the previous knowledge of the students, to structure tasks in a way to maximize learning. So these are the purpose of questioning. And other than these also, we can list so many purpose of the questioning. Then questioning should never discourage the peoples. Instead of it, encourage the peoples. Develop the fear toward learning. Maybe because of questioning, most of the students are failure to attend the classes regularly because they will start to afraid of for questioning. So it should not be like that. Then develop the inferiority complex. You should not develop the inferiority complex. The student maybe started to develop the inferiority complex when it's not possible to answer for the questions. So ask for the punishment or humiliation purpose. Don't do like this. Your question should never be for the punishment purpose or the humiliation purpose. So instead of that, your purpose of questioning is encourage the students to participate in learning, thinking logically like that. Then meaning of probing questioning in total what? Going deep into people's response by asking a series of questions which lead the people toward the correct response or higher level of understanding. So managing the student's response by means of series of questions, going in deep and increase the level of understanding among the students is called as the probing question skill. It is a skill of handling the responses of the people from no answer to desired answer or a criterion answer. So maybe it takes little time, of course, but the aim and objective of the probing questioning is lead the children from no answer to the desired answer through the series of questions. So that is a prime aim of the probing questioning. And then here, teach a skill of handling the responses of pupils. Episode 1, teacher use the probing, and episode 2, teacher not use probing. So I would like to give two examples for your kind consideration. In episode 1, what the teacher activities, you just listen to me carefully. In episode 2, what is the action of the teacher? You listen carefully. First, I would like to narrate the episode 1. Then I will go for the episode 2. In episode 1, teacher, who looks after the school or local administration of a city? Then answer is no. Then reaction of the teacher. The teacher deals with the no response situation right now. So all right. Who makes provision for clean water, street lighting, and construction and repairs of roads in our city. You see, for the first question, the answer is no. No response from the students. Then instead of supply the answer, teacher used to give some clues. Then students say, sir, municipality. Then teacher, very good. What are the functions of municipality? Then the student response is like this, opening of primary schools. You see, the municipalities functions are many, but student is able to say only one answer. Then teacher accept this answer, but he know the answer is not full. For that reason, he is going to put some more questions to get a full response. Now, can you name some of other functions? Yes, looking after the health of the people. Then any more functions? Then students beautifying the city. Why does municipality perform all these functions? This is the next question from the teacher. Then students' response is like this. First student, to make the children educated. Second student, to make the people healthy and strong. Third student, to attract the visitors. Good. Students, teacher response is like this. What are the other local administrative bodies? Then answer, municipal corporation and gram panchayats. Very good. How is municipality different from them? So by taking the students' answer only, the teacher put some more question to elicit the more and more higher order answer from the students by putting the higher and higher order questions. So this is episode 1. Now carefully listen the episode 2. In the episode 2, the teacher is like this. He's going to ask the question and how the student responds and how the reaction of this teacher. He just observe very carefully and listen. Who looks after the local administration of city? Then answer is again no. Then teacher is going to ask other student. Then other students used to say panchayat. Then teacher, that's wrong. You don't know anything. Sit down. Then he is going to ask the same question for the next children. Then he said municipality. Then teacher, what are the functions of municipality? The student answer is like this. It keeps the city clean. Okay. In today's class, we shall discuss about the municipality's function and its structure. So just to observe, compare these two episodes. By that, what we understand, who is best. Then judge yourself which teacher is a best teacher. What type of teacher you wanted to become, first or second? You wanted to become a teacher in episode 1 or a teacher in episode 2? I wish you become first episode type of teacher instead of the second one. Of course, the first episode type of teachers required a lot of patience and that process consume more time. But finally, the aim of the teaching is students should change their behavior. Students should acquire the knowledge. Students should be able to create the knowledge. Students should be constructors of the knowledge. For that reason, the episode 1 type teacher is a very best and effective teacher. I wish you become the episode first teacher. Then what we observe in episode 1. So in episode 1, we observed that teachers supply the hints instead of supply the right answers. Asked further question or questions to complete the answer for the incomplete answers. Then asked question for more than one student. Then asked why and how questions even though the answer was correct. Then asked a question by relating to the previous knowledge. So these are the observations in episode 1. Then components of probing. By taking the episode 1, we can draw the components of probing questioning. The standard components already listed by the expert like D.W. Allen and B.K. Pasre and M.S. Lalita. So we'll see one by one using the episode number 1. The first one is in episode number 1, the teacher prompt the students to get the answer. Then again, one more component used by him or her is seeking further information. I used to abbreviate it as a SFI. Don't think it is a Student Federation of India. Just for sake of remembering, I do it like this. seeking further information, SFI. Then third one is refocusing. Fourth one is redirection. And last and fifth one is the increasing critical awareness, ICSA. So it's abbreviated myself as ICSA. So like this, we can list out the components of the probing questioning. Now we will see the meaning of each component. The first component is prompting. So it is like this. The supply of hints or clues to get the expected or criterion responses is called as a prompting. So when the teacher is not get the answer from the students, instead of supplying the answers, if the teacher is going to supply some hints and get the answer, then that is known as the prompting or supplying the clue. One more is prompt are of two types. There are two types of prompts. One is the formal prompting and another one is the theoretical prompting. You see here the thematic and formal. Thematic means are concerned with the thereof context, and formal is deals with the structure of the response. So what do you mean by these two? Thematic means it is concerned with the thereof context, how the student give the response. According to that, we are going to modify our questions. So that is thematic. Spontaneously how to prompt the students. Whereas formal means maybe student's answer is incorrect or half correct, partially correct. Then maybe the structure of the student's answer is not so correct. Then we can immediately there only by supplying the clues change the structure of the response is called as the prompting. So we will see one example for the prompting. So example is like this. Teacher, why is it that an iron piece sinks in water whereas a ship does not? Then answer of the students, I don't know. That means no response. Then teacher prompt like this. Do you think that this problem has to do anything with the size of an object? You see here, instead of supply the answer, the teacher is going to prompt the child by means of the hints. So like that, we can prompt. Then second example for prompting, how can we can give the hints or clues? What were the causes for the rapid spread of Buddhism in India? Then people's response, the principles of Buddhism were more flexible and simple than the principles of the Hindu religion. So teacher's reaction is like this. Yes, very good. Rigidity and the complexity of the Hindu religion were the main causes for the spread of the Buddhism in India. There were many other reasons also. You see, the teacher knows the answer is not fully correct. For that reason, he is going to give the prompt, clues. Is there any reason related to the language used at the time? You see, one of the reasons for the spread of Buddhism in India is also a language. So because the Hindu religion or in the Sanskrit language, difficult for the people to understand. For that reason, the teacher give the hints. So here, teacher use hint of to get the answer. So like this, we can prompt. Then next one is the SFI, seeking further information. So what is meaning of the seeking further information? Elicitation of more information through the further questions is called as seeking further information. So when the students give the half response, partial correct response, partial answer for the question, then we ask SFI questions. Or SFI means dragging out the information from the students instead of pouring in. Then elicit the additional criterion expected full response. The questions which are asked to elicit the additional criterion expected full responses is called as the seeking further information. So just we see one example for the seeking further information here. What do you mean by the term the education used by in this statement? So one of the statement is like this. Elaboration. Can you put it in other words to make it clearer? What do you mean? Can you clarify your answer further? So like if the questions asked, then it is called as the seeking further information. So one more example. Will you tell me why do you think that you are right? Will you please elaborate your answer? Will you give an example to support your view? So like this, seeking further information questions are going to ask. One more example, the teacher put a question like this. How can we say that food habits of man are largely controlled by the climate of the particular region where he dwells? The students answer, man accepts those items for his diet which are easily available or found in abundance. Then teacher, can you make your answer clear by giving an example? So here the teacher is going to ask one more question to get the full answer, seeking further information. Then student, yes, for example, the Eskimos consume fish and meat because they are easily available for them. So like that, the teacher is going to get the answer. So while seeking further information, sometimes we have to prompt the children also. Sometimes the prompting is also mixing with the seeking further information. Whenever the students are failure to give a full answer, then the teacher should supply the some hints and some clues to children to give the full answer. So here there is a chance of mixing the prompting, questioning as well as the seeking further information. So we have to always keep in mind, don't supply the answer to the children, but supply the hints, and by that let them to answer for our questions, give response for our questions. Then only our class will be very live. Then next component is refocusing. So word refocusing means focus again. So here the meaning is like this, connecting the present knowledge with the previous or learnt one. So what already the student are learned in their previous classes, or what already the things are known to the students, if you connect the present knowledge with the previous one, that is called as refocusing. So then another meaning of the refocusing is like this, relate the correct answer to other topics or give a compatible parallel situation. So refocusing means compatible parallel situation, creating a parallel situation, compatible situation by that linking the knowledge of one to the linking to knowledge of other. So that is a refocusing. Then we'll see one example related to the refocusing. In what way is this different from? So this type of questions are related to refocusing. How does it relate to? In what way is it similar to? If we examine it from the view of point, so these are the mode of questions usually we ask in refocusing. Then one of the example for the refocusing, teacher, what is the central idea of the poem My New Childhood by Srimati Subhadra Kumari Chauhan? So teacher is going to explain about one of the poems of the Srimati Subhadra Kumari Chauhan, My New Childhood. The answer of the students is like this. Here the poetess recollects the sweet memories of her happy childhood and wants to be a child again. But as soon as she sees her own little daughter, she feels that her own childhood has come back again. Then teacher, can you relate this poem to any similar poem read by you in the previous class on the same subject or topic? So this is the refocusing. So why we refocus? Already I told, to create a parallel situation, to connect, to give the correlation. By means of correlation, the students will be able to remember the things for a long period. And by that, we cannot establish the principle that no subject is isolated, all subjects are interrelated. For that reason, here we use the refocusing. So when we use the refocusing, we can use the refocusing when we get the correct answer from the students. So in order to establish the higher order thinking, creative thinking among the students who said the right answer, then we can put the refocusing. So when we feel the refocusing questions are very important, then we can redirect that answer to the many children. So next component is the redirect. So it is like this. Redirection means directing the same question to a number of people one by one. Then why we redirect. The purpose of redirect is many. The one thing is redirection is going to motivate the student who is not answer. At least he can listen the answer, correct answer from the child who said the correct answer, and he is to repeat. By that, he is also able to involve in the classroom. He or she is able to participate actively in the classroom. So even though why we redirect the answer means, because if that question is very important, then we used to redirect the question and answer. By that, we can make the students to repeat the answer, and by that it is going to be rehearsal among the children, and they can remember it for a long period of time. So we'll see one such a redirection technique example. Teacher, what are the characteristics of living things? Then student response is no, we don't know the answer. Then no response. Then what to do a teacher? Teacher should hear chance to give the clues, hints, prompts for a same child. If the same student is not answer for the question, then other student are get ready to give the answer. Then you can reread that question to the child or the student who know the answer. When the second child used to give the answer perfectly, then you can ask the first child to repeat the answer which is told by the second student. Then this is the one way of redirection. Sometimes we redirect like this. Even though student give the full answer, then also we redirect to repeat the answer from some other students. So like this, we are going to redirect the students' answers. Then the last component is increasing critical awareness, ICA. ICS means Indian Civil Services. So here, in order to remember it for a long period, I used to make it as a ICA instead of ICS, increasing critical awareness. Then the meaning of ICA is promote the divergent thinking among the people. Then higher order questions. Then questions which engage the students in thinking and creating knowledge. How should be the increasing critical awareness questions? Usually, the increasing critical awareness or ICA questions are how and why questions. For example, how do you say so? What are you assuming here? How do you someone who take the opposite viewpoint respond to this? Why do you say that all men are honest? Why do you like the company of good friends? So the question forms of the increasing critical awareness are like this. Now we will see one example. Teacher, why are the banks of rivers called as the seats of ancient civilization? The student's response: our wandering ancestors blocked on the banks of these rivers and began to lead a settled, secured, and prosperous life. The teacher, do you think that there was any special reason why people in olden times preferred to live on the banks of rivers? So you see how is the question. By that, student can think in different way. So increasing critical awareness is leads the children to think in different way, broader way, higher order way. It promotes the divergent thinking among the students. For that reason, we have to ask the increasing critical awareness questions. You see how best the probing questioning technique is. So we'll see the schedule of the skill of probing questioning as like the skill of introducing a lesson. Again, here the preliminary information like name of the student teacher, then his roll number or her roll number or his number if, and then topic of topic which is going to select by the student teacher, then date and class. Then the components are only 5 and they are like that here in serial number 1 components. First one is the teacher used prompting questions to lead the pupils to the expected response. Then time in teach and as well as reteach. The same observation schedule can be used for the both teach, then mention the time, then reteach, mention the time. Here mention the here the teacher, the who is going to mention the time means the supervisor or the peer observers, or both can mention the time here. Then put the tallies for the first component, and then rating again 1 to 5. 1 is very weak and 5 is very excellent. Then second component, the teacher used questions for seeking for further information of the pupil's response. So SFI question again. Then third one is the teacher used questions to refocus the pupil's response. Then here already we come across how we refocus by means of relating the previous knowledge with the present one. And the fourth one is the teacher used questions to increase the critical awareness of the pupils about their responses. So here we are going to ask question why and how. Then teacher redirect the questions to the pupils. So many a times what happened, the same question is used for the refocusing and then redirecting and as well as the prompting and also seeking further information. So there is a chance also. In the next example, I will show you how the same question is going to use for the more than one component. Then note first is if rating is 1, then it is very weak. Then if rating is 2, average. Rating 3 means good. Rating 4 means very good. Then rating 5 means excellent. Then here name of the observer and the sign and signature of the supervisor are there in the observation schedule. Then sample lesson on the skill of probing questioning. Again, name of the student teacher, name of the skill already I mentioned. Then class, then date, roll number or register number, then topic. Here the light is a topic as actually taken yesterday regarding the introduction of the lesson. Here the subtopic I mentioned before going to start a lesson, because probing is going to use in anywhere, either in introducing a lesson or a presentation or in evaluation stage or in a recapitulation stage, anywhere. Then the subtopic is mentioned here only instead of after the statement of aim. Shadow and its formation. So I have taken the shadow and its formation as a subtopic. I am going to prompt the children by prompting or giving the hints to the students. The first one is here. Again, if you are now only entered into the class, usually we used to greet the students. Good morning, my dear students. Then answer of the students is yes, good morning, sir, good morning, ma'am. Greeting as usual. It's quite common. Then we all know that the sun is the source of light. Maybe you think it's a previous knowledge also. No problem. Then question, how does the ray of light travels in vacuum? Then no response from the students. Then teacher used to prompt by means of giving the clues. Maybe you can plan before going to class. Maybe the children are not going to give the answer for this question. You plan yourself. We don't know. Maybe the children will give the answer, may not be. If the students are not give the answer, then you must get ready to give the clues spontaneously, thematically. There only you can give the clues or get ready the clues. How does the ray of light is travels in vacuum? By using a small plastic pipe and a battery or a candle. Ask one student to observe what happened. The teacher is to put on the candle at the one edge of the small pipe and ask the child to see at the other end. So by that, the child can infer the light is travels in a straight line propagation, or a light is propagate in a straight line in the vacuum. Here, the teacher, by means of demonstration, give the hints or clues to say the answer for the question. How does the ray of light travels in vacuum? Then second question, what are the effects of straight line propagation of light? Then answer is the reflection, refraction, interference. So we know that the answer is not full. It's incomplete answer. For that reason, the teacher is going to put some more question to get some more information. Can you list some other effects? Then by here, teacher going to do the use two components. Maybe he is going to supply some clues also here, but it is situational. Don't think it is only the correct. Just imagine solar eclipse and rainbow formation. Student will immediately catch the point. So rainbow means 7 colors. Then the effect is known as dispersion of light. Okay, one more effect is the dispersion of light. Okay, right. Then solar eclipse, polarization. So this is a question for the seeking further information. Component covered, I have written SFI, because here the teacher is going to elicit some more information from the students. So this is a seeking further information question. Then next one is, at the time of solar eclipse, the shadow of the moon is fall on earth. By taking the answer of the students, teacher is going to put some more question. How does the shadow formed? Then answer, the shadow is formed when the opaque object obstructs the path of light. So here, how means increasing critical awareness. If you think this is very important, this content is very important, this concept is very important, here only we can redirect to other children to repeat the answer. By that, everyone recall the answer immediately because of continuous rehearsal and exercise. The shadow is formed when the opaque object obstructs the path of light. Then next question is, what is the color of shadow? So wrong response or no response, or maybe it's a relevant answer. Then what to do? Again, go for prompt using the some demonstrations. So now teacher again already has a candle. Then he put on the candle and keep one source of, so one opaque object before the source of light, and make it to fall on the shadow of the opaque object on the some white screen, and ask the students, observe here, what are the reasons you can find in the shadow. Then students are going to answer, yes, there are 2 regions. How many regions are there in shadow? By observing this, you say, then by observing the picture which is demonstrated by the teacher, students are going to say, yes, shadow has 2 regions. Then SFI question. So which are they? Umbra region and penumbra region. Okay. The same question may be redirect to some other students to repeat the answer. Maybe you will think it is important. Then how does the formation of shadow is related with the solar eclipse? So again, refocusing question. How does the formation of shadow is related with the solar eclipse? Maybe students are not going to say the answer. Then you should give the hints, clues again. By that, students are going to say the answer. The formation of eclipse is nothing but the formation of shadow. So like this, we use 5 components in probing questioning. Then, what are the challenges of probing questioning? So we face many challenges in probing questioning skill. Which are they? Just we see one by one. Teacher should have good mastery over the content. This is one of the challenges. If the teacher not have a mastery over the content, not thorough in content, then it's very difficult to give the hints or put the increasing critical awareness questions, because maybe the thinking ability of the students is more than the teacher. For that reason, we must have a thorough idea about our content, what we are going to teach. And next challenge is, sometimes our pre-plan will be changed according to the situation. What we pre-plan, maybe we think that it's very difficult question, student may not answer for this, but students are going to give the answer for that. We think that this is a very easy question, students are not going to give the answer. Then we think that the question is very easy, so students are going to answer for this question, but it will be going to be reverse. So we don't know what happened. because it is situational, depend on the student's response. We must get ready to give the clue there only. If it is already planned, good. If it is not planned, there only you try to give the clues by using the different instruments available in the classroom itself, or in surrounding, or through the words. By that only you can give the clues there only. So that's a challenge. The prompting may be on spot sometimes. Already I told you. Sometimes you have to prompt there only, formal prompting as well, thematic prompting. And sometimes what happens when we give the clue, instead of giving the expected as a desired or criterion response, the child may be give some other response. Then it lead the discussion to the some other path other than what content we are going to teach. We have to avoid that. We have to restrict ourselves. We should not skip to the next other contents. We try to let the child to bring to the content what we are going to teach, or let the student to give the expected or desired or criterion response for the question. So our clue should not lead the children in the negative or some other way. Like that we have to give the clues. So that is a challenge. Then people's answers and responses decide the probing many a times. Answer of the students, let the teacher to probe. When the teacher is not satisfied with the answer, then teacher is going to probe further. So there only we can prepare questions. For that reason, before going to probing questioning skill, we have to rehearsal a lot. We have to list out some more questions and list out plenty of prompts and clues. Try to take more and more objects and demonstrable objects in the classroom, and spontaneously there only we can prompt. So these are the challenges usually we have in probing questioning skill. And some other questions related to the probing questioning skill are, when do probing questioning skill can be used? I think I already told that the probing questioning skill may be used in the very beginning of the presentation, that is in the introducing a lesson period, or else the probing questioning can be used in the presentation time, or else we can use the probing questioning technique in the recapitulation stage, or else the same probing questioning technique can be used in the stage of the evaluation. Wherever you can use. The ultimate aim of the probing questioning is elicit the answer from the students. Prompting. Prompting is the main aim and purpose of the probing questioning skill. Once we learn the skill of probing questioning, then always the students will enjoy our class, because there is no fear. There is no any problems among the children. So students will be happy to say the answer, because they know that teacher will never punish. Instead of that, he is going to encourage by means of putting some other questions. And definitely students are confirmed. The teacher will supply clues. For that reason, our class will be always very effective once we practice the probing questioning skill. Of course, I agree. Probing questioning skill may consume much of time, of course. But even though it takes a much of time, ultimately we can able to achieve the specific objectives what we list in our lesson plan in the beginning. So the ultimate aim of the teaching and teacher is the reach the students. Let the students to learn, modify the behavior, and let the students to construct the knowledge. So the probing questioning definitely give the justification for the constructivist approach. The students are the knowledge constructors instead of the passive listeners. So we have to learn the probing questioning skill, even though very few obstacles are there, of course, like it consumes much time, which leads us to some other topic to discuss. Apart from that, if the teacher is very alert, definitely we can manage the students' response in a very good manner. and not only good manner, best manner. By that we can give a lot of things to the children, and we may develop the good attitude among the children about the learning. So this is all about the probing questioning skill. Thank you for patience listening. Thank you one and all.